I will say that the reason why I got into coding, programming, and this way back. Do you remember Neopets?
Oh my God, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Welcome, Fedi Friends, to episode 39 of Fireside Fedi. I'm your host, Ozoned. Fireside Fedi is a show about folks within the Fediverse. If you're seeing this, yes, you are in the Fediverse, even momentarily. With me today, which I'm really excited because I just found out about what he's doing at FediCon. I watched the video. We'll get into all that. But with me today is Julian Lam. Julian is the co-founder of NodeBB, husband, dad to 3 monkeys, which I love the little monkey picture, rock climber, foodie, conductor, and saxophonist, which that all sounds amazing. I became aware of Julian because of NodeBB and the integration that's being happening with ActivityPub. If you don't know NodeBB, it is so hard to say.
It is. You need a better name.
No, it's great because that way it sticks out in everyone's mind. Like, I can't say it. So yeah, it's that thing. But NodeBB is a better forum platform for the modern web. It's a next generation community forum software. It's powerful, mobile ready, and easy to use. And it looks great. But we'll get into all that. Julian or Mr. Lamb, or however you like to be called, how would you like to be addressed?
Oh, you can just call me Julian. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's been a while since I did an episode, so I'm a little nervous. I'm always nervous, but
yeah,
you're a pro. Your FediCon video was excellent, but
thank you. Yeah, I've been working on a lot of my public presentation skills for a while now. I didn't used to be that. You know, when I first started my company, NodeBB. By the way, I've had 10 years of saying NodeBB, so it just rolls right off the tongue. You know, I wasn't as comfortable speaking in front of a crowd, and then you know, just practice makes perfect, and trying to sell your product, and then a lot of the other things that I do. So you mentioned conducting, so I actually do conduct, like musical conducting, not train conducting, the kind with the baton where you wave your arms around. And
yeah,
I like to say that as a person, I don't like to be the center of attention, but I love conducting and, you know, uniting a concert band or something. I do concert band conducting, so that's what I do. And I don't find that at all intimidating in front of a large audience because I'm not facing them.
Yeah, your back's to them.
Literally
right?
facing the other way, so I can do whatever I want. Yeah, so my name is Julian. I got a little spiel, so I'll just talk about that. I'm the co-founder of NodeBB, so we're a Canadian-based community building platform. And so, as you mentioned earlier, our tagline is a better forum platform for the modern web, which alternatively now we could also loop in the fact that we're interconnecting communities through the open social web or ActivityPub or the Fediverse or whatever you want to call it. I'm also the lead for the SWIG Forum G, which stands for, deep breath, the Social Web Incubator Community Group Forums and Threaded Discussions Task Force, or the Forum WG, or the Threadiverse WG for short. It's a lot of words to basically talk about. We're bringing together people who want to advance the vision and goals of the Fediverse, not the Threadiverse, sorry.
Yeah.
Threaded discussion platforms, that sort of thing. Because by and large, a lot of what you see on the Fediverse right now is microblogs.
Right.
Mastodon being the main example, which is fantastic. Mastodon did so much to bring the concept of the Fediverse forward into people's minds. You know, even though we're at like 0.1% market share right now, but you know, 0.1%, we're getting there.
I don't look at it as 0.1%. I look at it as what, like 10 to 20 million people.
There you go. Yeah, I like that. I like that way of looking at it.
Yeah. And we don't know. And it doesn't even have to be people, right? It could be, hopefully, eventually, companies. Right?
Yeah.
So it's about adoption rate.
Creators, you know, you know, Andy Piper is really big on bringing creators into the Fediverse, and I think that's a wonderful thing. You mentioned FediCon. So that's a conference that takes place in Vancouver. And this past August, yes, it was August. This past August was when it was the first edition of FediCon. And it was nice because it's in Canada. I'm in Canada. I'm in Toronto. I just had to fly, 5 hours west to get to it.
Yeah.
But it's better than having to fly to, Japan or to Brussels, and like transfer and everything. It's a completely different continent. So sort of being in Canada and seeing the Canadian Fediverse contingent was really nice. I had a point that I was going to get to, but I've forgotten it now.
No, you're fine.
It'll come back.
Well, so let's take a step back though, because I want to know how you got to where you're at today. Like, let's be honest. Most people don't even consider forums anymore. I'm of an age where forum was the standard way we communicated, in the late 90s, early 2000s. And then we had social medias and voice chats and all of that. So, and you're a younger guy, at least compared to me. I'm 44.
Okay. I'm getting there.
I think.
I haven't hit the big 4-0 yet.
Yeah, right.
But
but how did you get to where you're at? Did you study, computer science? Did you what did you do? Did you come out, when you were born, just being like, I'm just going to make forum software and hook it up to.
Yeah, it's
sorry, my dog's playing with me.
Being in the forum space is very interesting because I sort of joined that scene sort of at the tail end when it was sort of dwindling down and wrapping up a little bit. I'm never going to admit that forums are gone because that would be a bad idea for my business.
And I don't think they ever will be gone, right?
They never will be gone. And I entirely missed the formative years of forum software. So, back in the day when you had to dial into your bulletin board systems and only one person could be online at the same time, I wasn't around for any of that. I was, I started joining forums when I was a kid, browsing the internet, trying to figure out what this whole thing is about. When PHP was a thing and vBulletin was a thing, these established giants of the forum industry, and there were lots of forums online because that's how people communicated. This is before social media was around. It was before Facebook, before MySpace, before Twitter, before LinkedIn, before any other social media platform you can think of.
Yep.
Right. So
Discord.
Forums themselves were a large part of my formative years, my digital formative years. I never really got into IRC because I wasn't so big on real-time chat platforms, but forums were where it was at, right? And so, early 2010s, I would say, I was working at a social media game company, which is very niche. It essentially back when Facebook had Facebook games, this company built games on that platform, and you can tell just by the way that you've hooked your entire business onto someone else's platform. You're completely doomed when it goes away, and of course the company no longer exists. But that's where I met two people, Barish and Andrew, who were on my team working on the same things, and we sort of vibed on a lot of things, our values, our approaches to code. Like, we can write the same code and we can read each other's code, and that's a really good way of determining like how compatible we are as developers, right? And so three technical guys got together and said, we could probably do this for a living. We could start our own our own bespoke web shop and put together little WordPress or Drupal sites for a living. Turns out the three technical guys really, really bad at marketing and really, really bad at client management.
But bad at finances, I'm sure. Yeah,
but in between clients, and I always look back at this part as the most fun I've ever had at work, because it was just doing whatever you wanted. Just like, I have an interesting idea. Let's see where this goes. Let's see if it had legs. And one of the ideas was, could we put together a forum? And this was around the same time that a lot of other modern forum softwares were starting up. So it was around the time Flare was starting up. It was around the time Discourse was starting up. This was the same time Ghost was starting up, and they completely disrupted the blog space. So when you talk about who is, a blog the big blog software is WordPress and it's Ghost right now, right? So we started around the same time as Ghost, and it took us, I think, a year or 2 years to actually get to the point where we could look back and say, yeah, we're feature compatible with other forums. But then, and it's just been going on from there. I don't know if you were asking way back how I got started.
No, this is great. Yeah, whatever.
And here's the other bit about how I got into Activity Pub. But Activity Pub's been around for a while too.
Yes.
I think it's been under development even before NodeBB started. And it was after the Reddit API controversy that I even started looking into alternatives. And around that same time, because I'd been frustrated with social media in general for a number of years, and I thought, was there a way that we could link forums together?
Yep.
And this was completely self-serving. We're talking about, I have a forum software. I want to link other of my forum software together because, in this sort of world we're living in, where it's about capitalism and making money, whatever can help me and my clients, whatever.
Right.
So how can we connect all of those forum softwares together? The easiest way would be to build a compatible API layer and then have everything talk in the same language. So I was about to do that. I had some things sketched out on a notebook about how I would accomplish this. I was going to start experimenting with it. And that's when I discovered ActivityPub, which essentially was all of that protocol work thought through and done and battle tested. And it would be insane for me not to use this.
There was a beam of light that came down and was like, Julian, pay attention.
Because it was you could invent your own protocol and then you start from square one. Or you could adopt an existing protocol. I could essentially plug into an existing network, the Fediverse, of millions of users. Now, obviously, they're not all talking about the same thing as what I want to talk about, right?
Right.
We're talking about forums that are intensely topical, very focused on, one specific topic.
Yeah.
Be it, growing bonsai trees, or your Honda Civics. Each of those car manufacturers, each make and model has their own forum online because people love talking about their cars. And so to sort of blindly plug into the Fediverse and just throw all of that into a forum is not exactly the right approach. How do we sort of navigate that I guess fire hose of content into a manner that works with how forums are used and understood? And so that's where I am today. I spent the greater part of 2024 with the financial backing of the NLNet Foundation, building out the initial ActivityPub component into NodeBB. So as of, I think, mid-2024, NodeBB federates out into the Fediverse. And that's when forums officially joined the Fediverse. It's very exciting, yeah.
And no, this is what I love about this. So it's interesting that you had the realization that tying your business to one company is a bad idea, right? And then you mentioned the Reddit AI apocalypse because you were tying into Reddit. Then how were you tying into Reddit?
Oh no, I just happened to be a very prolific user of Reddit.
Oh, okay. So that was separate.
I wasn't mods or anything, but I think a lot of it was, where had forums gone in the intervening years?
Right.
A lot of it had gone to social media. A lot of it had gone to Reddit.
Yep.
And what made Reddit different from forums? We could argue this for ages and ages, but we had, Reddit was something that a lot of people were using and had entered sort of the social zeitgeist of how you communicate online. And I build forum software for a living, and it's always been hard for me to sort of penetrate that layer and say, you should have a forum. Not everyone can host a forum. Not everyone has a technical capability to do that.
Yep.
But, yeah.
No, and it's so I'm gonna show NodeBB here. It looks really nice. I don't
Thank
know.
you.
I don't know when the
I
last
don't
time
have
was.
any design talent at all, but I've been working with some
Really?
very talented designers
Oh,
to
okay.
put this together. Yeah,
I was gonna say it. Yeah, it looks super nice. It looks very clean. Um, I think one of the interesting things that I've been reading a lot about lately is, the dead internet theory, or supposedly in the Google antitrust docs, they're basically saying the open web is dying. The main way that we had the open web was we had all of these different forums, right? As you said,
yeah,
cars, bonsai trees, and it was open to everyone. And then we needed a search engine that brought it all together.
sure.
But again, if that is true, if the open web is dying, I don't think it's dying in the sense that we won't have a web anymore. We won't have openness. I think it's pivoting. And I think you guys, like with ActivityPub being there, it's just another way to get your message out, to get interconnected with these other things, to get these conversations and talk about them. Have you thought anything about something like that? Do you see,
Sure.
again, you said it's self-serving, which yes, it all is, right?
Initially, it was self-serving. And then
Yeah,
I discovered ActivityPub and realized that it could be that instead of it being something that I do and the responsibility that all entails, I could be part
right.
of the
A
greater
larger group.
concept of the open social web. And I
Right.
love that idea, right? The fact that, 2013, I started NodeBB, instantly we were free and open source. And we built our entire business model around providing maintenance and support for the free version. You can use our hosting. You get the same version as the open source version because
Yes.
I have nothing to hide here, right? But to your question about the dead internet theory, I think corporate capture of internet space is a legitimate concern. Um,
I love
I
how
always
I love the
every
words you use. You're very practiced with this corporate capture of the
yeah.
internet. Yeah, no,
I listen
yeah.
to Cory Doctorow a lot, so yeah.
he's he's amazing. He was on the show, and I was just like, I was so stunned. I was in awe that I literally didn't remember the episode. I had to go back and watch it. But
Oh
yeah,
yeah, but that's yeah. Hopefully you had some captions because I think a lot of it needs to be read because there's a lot. When Corey speaks, there's a lot of information heading your
yeah,
way.
yeah. He's
um,
amazing.
right. Uh, yeah. When I look at other countries and they essentially their entire economy is based around one app, like WeChat, for example. It's great that everything can be done that way. They have their own currencies. They have everyone
Yeah.
has a business on it, and it's built around that one platform. Scary in a lot of ways, but I'm surrounded in a bit of an echo chamber of people of like-minded individuals who see the the concerns about having so much centralization
Hmm.
around one platform, right? I
Well,
know that by and large, the majority of people on this planet don't see it that
yeah,
way.
yeah,
They just think, can I pay for my barber with my phone? And can I book a photographer through Instagram? And yeah, you can.
yeah.
You can't really do that on the open social web right now, can you?
Yet,
But
yeah, right.
I think at some point we'll get there, and I think preserving just in an ideal scenario, preserving the idea that individual websites can exist, should exist, but they can also interconnect, gives you that layer of resiliency against corporate capture.
Yeah.
And it's very
No, and
important that this continue to be promoted.
we're humans. We look at these kinds of things on a human level, right? Like I personally don't want to use X. I would
Right.
never build a company solely on X. But from a
A lot of people
and
have.
a lot of people
They got
have,
bitten by that.
but and from a business perspective, and even if you go up to another level, like a governmental perspective, pretty much the entire world, save for some exceptions, are beholden to United States tech companies,
Sure.
right? And regardless of where you align, there's going to become a time where you don't agree with that, what they're doing or how they're doing things. And we're seeing these schisms, even if the current situation in the US wasn't what it was. we see a lot of companies trying to control these in different, or sorry, a lot of governments trying to control all of this in different ways. And it's going to be impossible, even for Facebook. I think it's already been impossible. So that's where I see, again, something like NodeBB, where you have some companies that Vivaldi Open, or sorry, Opera Forums. There was another big one. I can't remember who it was. But like you have a bunch of companies. It's like, no, now we can get our message out outside of all of these tech companies. We can run our own platform. We can have social networking all built in. And I'm just waiting for a lot of these companies to kind of realize we can do it ourselves, and we probably should, especially with impersonators. Or who was it? It was Mao that I spoke with, who said, I built this app for my company, and then I kind of snuck in these tools, and I'm like, hey, now you could do this as well. And I love that idea. Like, it's just added functionality and added features, right? The more features you can give, especially to those of your competitors that don't have, you get a leg up.
Yeah.
Do you see or any of your customers using the ActivityPub integration stuff yet? Or is there any interest from that side? Do you know that you can say? I know businesses.
I think a lot of it is right now. So we made the decision that we didn't want to thrust ActivityPub onto our existing clients. So
Sure.
what happens right now is that when ActivityPub was merged in, it automatically triggered version 4 of NodeBB. And if you upgrade from 3 to 4, ActivityPub is toggled off. No surprises. If you set up a new NodeBB, your ActivityPub is default on. And so we're going to see every new forum that gets started up will be federating. Whether it connects to the wider Fediverse is, a different story, because there are some steps that you need to do to actually start, jumpstart your followers and content. Right? You can't just start posting and then all of a sudden it's all over the open social web. It doesn't quite work out that way. There is probably some trepidation over it, because the whole idea of right now, the whole idea of starting your own forum outside of established incumbent social media is because you want to have that insular group. Perhaps you have the critical mass to sustain a community of the conversations, and so you start the group, the forum. So to turn around and say now you can interconnect with 11 million people on the open social web may not be where they want to go right now. Right. I obviously want to interconnect everybody, but for better or for worse. But that isn't always a view shared by a lot of people who run forums. And so we give you that option. You don't have to federate if you don't want to. It's always just a big master toggle. You can just turn it right off.
Right. But that's, again, for those that are using it, it's another feature there if you decide to use it. Right. And whom it knows, maybe it won't work out and it'll just be folks like us that really care and passionate. But you spread it that way. Like I was smiling when you're talking about this, because again, I've said this before to other people. I've heard this a lot from other people. The Fediverse feels like the original web.
Yes.
It was all about interconnecting people and talking to people. And every single new project and person I talk to, I'm like, I want to run that now. Like, I want to set it up and run it. And it's like, I have so many of these that I like want to do, that I want to try and things like that, because it brings me back. Right. Like I don't know if it's just nostalgia or if it is the right way to do things. I think it is the right way to do things, but I'm again in my mid-40s. So
there has been a shift away from the wild garden concept of the internet and into, there's a term for it. Is it commodification or something like that, where essentially you're using an existing platform. It's genericized in a way so that everybody essentially follows the same script, right? I will say that the reason why I got into coding, programming, and this way back. Do you remember Neopets?
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Neopets let you maintain a store, and you could put whatever you wanted in that store. You could put in JavaScript if you really wanted to. Like, it's a total security nightmare. But this was a different time. And I didn't know any better. And if you remember the old MySpace pages, old
Yeah.
Zanga blogs,
Yep.
Neopet stores, where you could just customize the living heck out of it. It
Anything
could
you
be
want. Yeah.
pink and purple and yellow and flashing lights and marquees and blink tags all over the place. And that was your store. That was your place to really express.
Under construction, coming soon.
And the construction GIFs,
Yeah.
yeah. And so, I essentially started it all, cut my teeth on that little text box in the Neopets window where you could just write HTML.
That's
and
awesome.
we don't really have that now, because if you want to learn, I want to put together a website. Okay, well, let's start with a React project. You're going to download and install npm. You're going to run this bootstrap script to start the whole thing, and all of a sudden you've got 3,000 lines. You don't know a single one of any of it. Well, how did I start? I started with,
Thank you.
I was going to say angle bracket HTML, but you don't need that tag either. So I started with angle bracket P. No, you don't need that either. Text. Essentially, anything you wanted, and just the whole freedom that came with.
Yeah.
And it's, you hit save, and then it shows up, and it looks really ugly. Let's fix it. And it's just sort of that hacker culture.
But it was yours, right? It was yours. Like, you took 2 hours to get that construction GIF man on that page, and you're like, I'm gonna do something with this. And that's why GeoCities was just full of that, right? But
yeah, GeoCities.
It was yours, and you learned because of it. It pushed you to learn, and that's why it got, like, our generation so involved in that kind of stuff, because it gave you the power to do what you wanted.
Yep. And so that's how I got into sort of web development. But like, if I probably could have got into the same field in many different ways, but that was the one way that really spoke to me the most, and I always look back to it fondly. And it's a little sad that we don't have that nowadays. Like, could you imagine if you could customize your Mastodon profile and just put whatever HTML you wanted? That would be insane.
And it's funny because that's, like you mentioned it earlier, like, it's a security nightmare. That's why no one does it, right? But yeah, I would love that if someone came to my profile and it's, all kinds of GIFs and flashing lights, and it's like, this is over the top and ridiculous, and that's why it's fun.
That's why it's fun. And so the only time you ever really see that nowadays is when someone of our generation looks back at that era fondly and says, let's do this on our site. And this is somebody who now has the power to do this for a Fortune 500 company, and they do something crazy, the big Dropbox rebrand where it looked absolutely insane for a little bit, and then now I think they reverted it. Now it's a different. Have they?
But it's like a marketing ploy, right?
It's a marketing ploy where it sort of harkens back to that age.
A simpler time.
So corporate, because it's just here's our brand guidelines. If you want to make your site look this kind of wild.
Yeah. And again, that's why I'm so excited about this stuff. I'm not a developer, but I can run my own. I can put whatever I want on there. I can keep my kids on mine and keep them safe. Right. Now that's
that's an important.
That's a big one why I do it. I mean, I'm nostalgic for the good days, the olden days, whatever you have it. But I see it as a way of still being able to communicate while keeping my kids safe. And whether you like X or Facebook or Blue Sky or Mastodon, social media is not going away. This is a form of communication that is here to stay forever. It's going to morph and it's going to change, but I think it was Dr. Gell who said, we've always had a desire to communicate with others, to form groups and talk with others. And this is not going away. So it's how do we make sure that we make it in the best interest of everyone? And I don't think it's X or blue sky.
The innate desire to communicate is something that will never go away. You're completely right. If you think about the earliest ways of asynchronous communication, I use that term. It's a very technical term, but basically being able to leave a message for somebody.
Yeah.
Literally, it's a cork board in a hallway somewhere, and then you post something to it. Bulletin board systems, by nature of that name, is just that digitized, right? Now we call them forums or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And now we have social media. You have microblogs. You have blogs. Essentially, all of that is the same idea. We just want to communicate. Whether it's broadcasting, whether it's discussions, we just want to communicate. Everything else is just UI. It's just a user interface.
Yep.
Just how you interface with and how you interconnect people. And so at the end of the day, what I'm building is a way for people to talk. It's a way for people to bring together people across time zones, across country barriers. Talk about this rather niche thing, like, I was gonna say what is it? Warhammer 4K or what? The little model.
Oh yeah. Warhammer 40K.
40K, and it's not niche at all, really. There's so many of them. Or Dungeons and Dragons. Yes, Dungeons and Dragons.
Hey, I'm a Dungeons and Dragons nerd. That's not niche.
Not niche at all, right?
Yeah.
But back when you were the only you and your friend from across the street were the only ones.
Right, we were
discovered that there were actually
there
were dozens of you.
Yeah. No, and that's again, I think it's interesting because it's easy to take these classic ideas that before were in a bubble, and again, the only way you can find them was from an external source like Google. And now you have made it so not only can you see your forums, but you could step outside that bubble and pull it into your bubble if you want. Like, okay, I'm running a D&D forum, right? But I have interest in 40K, and you're a guy that does everything with 40K. I don't have to rebuild that forum.
Exactly.
Right? And that's power. That is innovation, in my opinion. That's amazing.
Yeah. And I wanted to see how far I could stretch that idea. So what I was doing in 2024 was building out ActivityPub in NodeBB, right? So that's the business excuse. What I wanted to do was have my forum be my way of communicating with social media. I didn't want to have Instagram. I didn't want to have Facebook. I don't want to have Twitter.
Right.
I don't want to have LinkedIn.
I
have all of those things for a number of reasons, but at the point around the time that we actually launched NodeBB with ActivityPub support version 4 was when I personally felt that we had gotten to the point where I could use that as my social media. Now, admittedly, it's a smaller social media, only 11 million, and I don't see all of them. I don't know the entire breadth of it, but I was able to communicate with the people I wanted to talk about and talk about ActivityPub stuff in the context of my little forum in the backwaters of the internet. Like, people, my forum only really got maybe like 1 or 2 visitors a day, and one of them was me, right? But now I'm receiving content from all over the globe, and not all of it is about ActivityPub, but just right away when we turned it on and we saw it working, I would make a post about ActivityPub, and I would get dozens of upvotes and dozens of replies. People who would never in the million years have landed on my website. Right. And it's how it all. That's the magic of it. That's how it works. It's the classic. What was it? I think AT&T reach out and touch someone. Like it is, and again, you're still in your safe space. And we always, I've said this before on the show numerous times, but I haven't said it to you, is like we always downplay the numbers, right? Well, it's only dozens. It's like, but you now, like, first off, you get a dozen people in a room. That's a lot of people. Order of magnitude higher. It's an order of magnitude higher than it was. Right. Well, and to those people, you've just made a connection where you wouldn't have had a connection before unless they sought you out. Yep. Right. And that is great. That is the power of this, is that we can all find each other anywhere. Yeah. And so one of the just a bit of a segue here. One of the
Yeah,
things I
no.
wanted to tackle was the fact that in building ActivityPub into NodeBB, I found that a lot of the developer community was fragmented. So a lot of the people were on, one or two forums. I was reading blog posts. People are on Matrix channels, which
Yeah.
I don't have a presence on. There are W3C groups, which
Mm-hmm.
take time and effort, and not everyone can join them. They are on mailing lists. My inbox is already overflowing. I don't want a mailing list. So I have a
Yeah.
bit of an ideological opposition to mailing lists for a number of reasons. And they're on microblogs. So you have I named like 5 or 6 different medias of communicating, which means that essentially the developer community is fragmented across all of these, and none of them can really talk with one another.
Yes.
But there is one simple fact that unites every single ActivityPub developer is that we are all on the Fediverse. So
Yeah.
ergo, ActivityPub developer conversations should happen on the Fediverse. And when I say on the Fediverse, what does that mean currently? Is it's on Mastodon. It's on a microblog platform,
Mm-hmm.
which is great in ways that it is a success in that it connects a lot of people together through that
Mm-hmm.
platform. But microblogs by design are ephemeral. And
Yes.
what I mean is that you essentially just post your thing,
Oh
you
yeah,
shout
yeah,
it
yeah.
into the
I
wind,
see where you're going. Yeah.
and then after 30 seconds, 30 minutes, 30 days, it's gone. And you can make the argument that no, it's not gone, it's still there. But if you've ever had to try and find something that you had posted 6 months ago, it is a
Yeah.
lot of scrolling on your mouse to get down there.
You don't realize how much you've said in that time. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Or somebody else had said, especially
Yeah.
if the UI doesn't quite support it. Like, oh, I want to see what Conductor has said a year ago. Oh my gosh! Every time he posts something, it's 25 statuses long. So it's a lot of scrolling.
Yeah.
And so there are ways you can tackle that. You could have some better search. You could use search engines outside. So there's a famous example where if you want to find anything on Reddit, you just go to Google and search something, and then you add Reddit to the end, right?
Yeah, because Reddit
You could
search
do the
was
same
trash.
thing
Yeah.
theoretically with Lemmy or with Mastodon or something like that, or with whatever
Yeah.
platform you want. But a lot of it is by design. So how can we change the UI in such a way that we can foster better discussions? Now,
Mm-hmm.
specifically, I'm talking about ActivityPub development, and
Yep.
so that is why I started a site called ActivityPub.space. So
Oh.
you mentioned earlier that I have 2 handles. Yes, I have one which is community.nodebb.org, which is the site where you go to if you want help with running your NodeBB. That was
Okay.
the original site that started federating because that's my software. And then I wanted to see what could we, if we took the ActivityPub integration to its extreme. No, not, I mean, you could always go further, but if we actually built functionality around how do we really bring forums and integrate it fully with the Fediverse, what does that look like? And that's where ActivityPub space comes in, where we have forums, we have categories, we call them categories, but we have news
Shit.
organizations that talk about the Fediverse. We have podcasts like this one that I'm on right now. How do we link them in? We have discussions that happen on the micro blogiverse, so like Mastodon and etc.
God.
But they're not
I love
categorized in
this.
any way,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
how do
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
get them in? How do we? The solution to that, by the way, is relays. So relays bring them in and
Mm-hmm.
tags. Because if I see anything that has the ActivityPub tag, it goes right into general discussion. If I see anything that has Fedi Dev or something similar like about ActivityPub development, it goes right to technical discussions, right? And so I'm continually tweaking a lot of these auto categorization rules to see what I can pull in and to reduce the
Dude.
noise that comes in. And what I essentially want is one space where I can get all my news, all my videos, and all the active discussions happening around ActivityPub in one place. Instead of it being, I need to go and sign up for an account on Mastodon.social or start up
Mm-hmm.
my own instance, and I got to start following. And
Yeah.
you won't ever know whether you follow enough people that you get the whole conversation.
Well, and it's So looking at this, I was just showing it on screen, and for audio listeners, go check it out. It's beautiful. Activitypub.space. I'm going to have all the links with the video, but yeah, these are just people that are interacting with their
Yeah.
choice. So like the very first one recently has been a lot of discourse about ActivityPub, AT Pro. I've been following that
Yep.
thread in my go-to social, and it just laid out here exactly like that. Like Amelia did not come specifically to this forum to
That's right.
write that message, and you're just immediately hooked in. And again, it's about communication, yes, but it's about consuming it how you want. Like I was a big Reddit user. I like looking at those topics that
Yeah.
people see. And I've been a big forum. Like I've been posting on my go-to social. Like I do the microblog thing. I am terrible at it. I
Oh yeah. So am I.
I hate it. I hate it because it is not it is a getting your message out there. It is not a conversation. Right?
No, it's not. It's a statement that you're looking for reactions to.
I know you probably want to hear what happened next on the show, but the following section is only available on the Fediverse. These uploads to big tech platforms such as YouTube, they're just to spread awareness about the Fedi. They were never supposed to be the official way for you to watch the show anyway. So go on and get the full episode on video.firesidefedi.live. It is absolutely free, just a different website. This video will now continue from a bit later in the conversation.
Because that sucks. Right? It's bridging that gap. And I think technology-wise, a lot of really smart people have put together a lot of the bits and pieces. We just need to put it together. So that's what I'm going to be working on this year, hopefully, is figuring that out. A lot of it is you have some big ideas, but nobody implements them. And how do you get critical mass for implementation?
Yeah. Well, is that why you joined the? I'm not even gonna try whatever the W3C work group is. And just before
Forum WG.
I followed one of those, and I got so much email on things that I have no idea about, and like it's like I just wanted to be a passive observer to see like an announce list, like hey, we released this version or something like that. And I signed up to something, and I'm just like, okay, I need to figure out how to get off of here because this is too much for me. Like I love following it, but I am not a developer. I'm a shitty sysadmin. But your FediCon video is on these types of things, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So if you want to talk about that.
Yes.
Because it was excellent.
Thank you. So yeah, one of the major themes, one of the major tasks that we've been working on the Forum WG, it's Forum WG stands for Forum Working Group, although technically it's called a task force because that's the official name for it. But besides that, is what we call internally conversational contexts. So that's my approach to one of the Fediverse's hard problems. If you've ever been in that situation where you post a question and then you get a bunch of replies, but none of the respondents actually know about all the other replies, right? You get the same answer to your question even like 4 days later. It's as though they didn't read your conversation, they didn't read your replies, right? How could they not have known?
The last thing. Yeah.
Right. And then you see this going back and forth, being like, yeah, this was already answered, dude. What's wrong with you? But it's because they literally can't see it from their instance. So how can we fix that problem? And so this builds on the theoretical work by a super smart fellow who goes by the name A. You can follow him at trwnh@mastodon.social. And conversational contexts reinforces the concept that a single object, like a post or a status or whatever you want to call it, is part of a larger collection of items. And you can term that something like a topic or a thread, or we use the term context. So each item in that collection refers back to that context. And that very simple association opens the door for a number of more advanced concepts like ownership, like moderation, so for trust and safety, forking threads and merging threads, and all of these items that you really can't achieve when your only responsibility is your post and nothing else.
Right? Yep.
And so the first task, what we've been working on for a couple of months now, is backfill. which is the capability to retrieve an entire conversation history. So let's say you join a conversation late, or you got mentioned midstream. You might not have any context about what's going on. That's why it's called context, by the way. You might not have any context about what's going on. You don't know what all the replies are. You don't know who else is talking about. Right.
Yep.
So what do you normally do? You go hit that little overflow button and you view the original URL. You should not have to do that. Right. You should be able to view the entire conversation, every discussion that happened stemming back to the root level post. You should be able to view multiple branches of a reply tree. That should be an expectation. It's an expectation that we have as consumers of social media. So how do we get there technically?
To get the full conversation. Okay? Yep.
So that's where conversational context comes in. And I'm not going to get into the technical specifics of it. We'll add the links at the end.
It's No, and it's interesting because you say it like this and people are like, oh yeah, just get the whole conversation. How hard is that?
But we don't have that support technically. And so an idea only remains an idea. It only remains an idea until it's adopted.
Yes.
So I'm working with people from Mastodon. I'm working with people from WordPress, Frequency, Mitra, Lemmy, and PyFed. So that's both the Microbloggerverse blogs and the Threadiverse to adopt conversational contexts. And so we're nearing the finish line with most of them. It's actually in Lemmy. It's in PyFed. The pull request has been made and we're working through some of the issues for Mastodon. And that's the big fish here, the white whale. And so I'm really excited to see how this will work at scale, because not only will you get the entire conversation, you end up with a situation where this is your bridge between the microblogs and the Threadiverse. Right now, those are two separate domains of the Fediverse, split with a moat essentially, and you get a little bit of stuff going back and forth through dimensions. But when you have a conversational context, all of a sudden you can load everything. And when you load everything, that means that someone on Lemmy or PyFed could load a Mastodon thread and get all the responses on that side of the moat, which means you'll see a lot more cross-pollination between
you see a lot more conversations, more interactions. Yeah. God.
I didn't even realize that until like 2 days ago.
It's amazing. Really and this is one of those things where, like, I think kind of all of us, well, at least for me, let me just say this. For me, it goes through, this is hopeful. This is amazing. We can take back the internet from the people that are poisoning it, in my opinion, to, well, it's not going to work. People are not interested. But it's folks like you that get me so excited, that are working on stuff in the background, that it's like, it's amazing, because the way I see it, I see the Fediverse in many different ways, but one of the big ways that I see it is in the 90s in the United States, whenever you would change your phone number, whenever you would go to a new cell carrier, you had to change your phone number. You could not take it with you. And then I would work, right? Yeah. Right. That's not a thing anymore. And
not a thing anymore.
I worked at a company called Alltel when the government had pushed, like, no, that is your phone number. That is you. You could take that wherever you want. And like, that's what I see with this is my kid, his school picks it up and he can be ozoned junior at elementaryschool.com. And then as he goes to middle school, he could take that with him. And then as he goes to high school, he could take that with him. And here's his job history. We don't have to worry about that anymore, because here's all of this. And here are all my certifications. And it's attached to me that I can take.
Yeah.
And I think that is, but things like this, you have to have, the way it is right now, you walk into a room full of people that are talking about a specific subject. You have no idea, and you insert yourself into it, and then everyone's annoyed that, no, that's not even what we're talking about. What the hell are you talking about? Like, it happens. And we, as we communicate, we expect, if you're going to come into the conversation, that you have that context.
Yeah.
No, this is amazing.
And it's easy to do when you're centralized. When you have everything.
Yes.
It's a given, right?
Yes.
You're posting on Reddit, obviously you'll see the entire thing. You're posting on a forum, obviously you'll see all the responses, right? But we don't have that expectation, and there's been so much time and effort gone that has gone into educating somebody as to why their expectation is flawed, and you should just be accepting of the fact that you won't see everything, right? So much time and effort went into that, being like, it sucks, but this is how the Fediverse works. And then you wonder why people are leaving. Wait, don't go.
Yeah, no, you have to meet people where they are, whether we like it or not. We will be compared to X, Blue Sky,
Yeah.
Reddit,
Sure.
TikTok. You have to at least be close feature wise to what people want and what people expect before you say, oh yeah, and by the way, you can talk to everyone, all the others, and you can run your own, and that is your account, and it is your data, and it's all this. And people don't understand that part. They don't see why that's a benefit. All they see is, well, there's no back button on here, so I'm going to go back to what I know.
Right.
No, that's, oh man. You guys keep giving me so much hope. Stop. Okay. Everyone being awesome. Okay.
Well, the exciting thing is that there's so much of everything that's going on with the developer community that it feels like the beginning of the internet. I always have this bit of inferiority complex when it comes to the software development industry, because I think I have a kind of neat idea, and then I post it somewhere, and then they're like, no, this was done 1,000 times, this is wrong, and you should feel bad about it, right? Because a lot of the problems in general software development have been solved. I might not agree with how a lot of it is solved, like, oh, you should just use a framework for everything. Let's not go into that. That's next time I'm on Fireside Fedi. But with activity development, a lot of it is we have these problems, we don't know how to solve them. And then I'm at a place where I can say, well, I have an idea. Let's give this a shot and let's figure this out.
Yeah.
And I'm working directly with people from all these different software, which is so wild, first of all. Could you imagine if I had this great idea and I need to loop in people from Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and to come together into a room and to figure out something? Yeah, right. Like that, I would ever get into that room. Right, but I'm able to do that with this comparatively smaller activity pub development group, and we can, I can put together this enhancement to the protocol, and I can advocate for it, and people who give it a try, and we can achieve something. And it feels like the beginning of the internet, where we had problems like, oh, how do we handle discovery on the internet? How do we link domains to IP addresses, right? Before we had DNS, and we can just come up with our own things and see if it works.
No, and it's open, and anyone can jump in and try their idea. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Who cares if it's been tried before? It might be different this time. Yeah. So I have to say this because it's one of my favorite books to read my kids. Have you ever heard of What Would You Do with an Idea?
Oh, no.
It's a beautiful book that basically is like, you have this idea and you like it and it's your idea. And then, it starts growing and enjoying with it. And people are like, well, that's stupid. That doesn't make any sense. Why would you do that? And it's like, well, it's my idea. It's my idea. And at the end, and not to spoil the book, but it is beautiful how it's done. At the end, it says you finally figured out what to do with an idea. You change the world. And go with it, man. Especially in the place you're at. Like, again, we are not centralized. We do not have a direct manager. We don't have a direct vision. We have many different individual visions. We have to talk a lot and interact a lot. But that's what makes it special. Anyone can come in and pitch their idea. And if people didn't like it, who cares? Try it. It might work.
It might work. Yeah. I mean, and that's where we are at right now, where we have, like I mentioned, conversational context, and that's one way of doing it. There are probably, I think, 3 or 4 different ways to do it. And part of what we were working through at that working group was to figure out how can we consolidate all of these, because they are, let's say there were 4. there were 4 different specifications, and they are all implemented by 4 different pieces of software. You obviously want them to communicate, to either switch or to communicate together. Like, how can we work together as a group to bring these disparate implementations together so we can all live as one big harmonious couple? You know, is it possible? Maybe it is, maybe it's not. Sometimes it's not, but yeah, the fact that we're there is a really exciting time. I love working as much as it's like herding cats. I love working with other implementers on trying to solve a problem. Like, I'm really excited to see how it's going to. I'm working with Rimu from PyFed about.
Rimu's awesome. I talked to Rimu on here before
about
too.
Their because they want to achieve a number of things, and a lot of it has been, well, Lemmy's are big fish, so we're emulating a lot of what Lemmy does, and everything else that is cool about PyFed we don't really federate outwards because it doesn't work with Lemmy, right? Okay. But can we as a group come together and work together to actually federate a bunch of these things? Like, PyFed has community labels and shared tags and other features that Lemmy doesn't have, right? What if more basic concepts like forking threads, moving stuff between communities, what if that was done in a federated manner? Could that be done?
Yes.
Right now it's all done locally, right? I moved something out of one of my categories, nobody else knows about it, and as far as they're concerned, it's still in a category. That's not quite right? So how do we work together on that in the Fediverse? These are the conversations that we want to have at the working group, and that's why it was formed, because a lot of that development shouldn't be insular in nature. Otherwise, you end up with 4 or 5 different ways to do the same thing.
Yeah. No, and it's and I had this conversation. Like, I've been on the Fediverse since, I think, 2017, 2018, something like that. I was very excited about it again because it was mine. I could be it. I'm not a software developer or anything, but you know, I found Owncast and I've been doing Owncast. I found Lemmy and I was doing Lemmy. I'm on PyFed now, but like on Lemmy, I'm talking very early days, but there was only Lemmy ML, and I would, talk directly to the developers. I have no, qualms, or, they're known for being quite different in their political views, which is fine.
Sure.
And I ended up leaving there because I was called a CIA agent spy, and I was just like,
wow.
I was just a dude who wanted to talk, but okay. But at one point I'm like, I want to follow people on Mastodon directly. Because I liked Lemmy, I like the Reddit style. That's where I want to have all my communications. And they're like, no, that's not within scope. That's not what we're here to do. And I'm like, but the point of the Fediverse is to bring it all together. No offense to Lemmy or PyFed, hell, Mastodon, GoToSocial. I honestly don't care about the project as long as I can accomplish the goals that I want in a view that I want. And right now, like you said, like I have a GoToSocial, I have a PyFed, I have my own casts. There are multiple different. We haven't solved the problem of you have to log into each different place to consume what you want. So I'm bouncing between most things, but that's what I see, right? Like you're saying, if we can bring it all together, then you consume all of it, however you want. And that's the benefit. And it's not easy. Like centralization, if we were centralized, great.
Oh, it wouldn't so easy. Yeah.
Julian, go do it. We'll pay you, 6 figures a year to do it all the time. You head up a couple of teams. Here's some servers. Go at it. And it's like, this is.
And I do want to point out that a lot of this wouldn't be possible. Like my contributions to that working group, even the activity pub integration into NodeBB at all, none of that would have been possible without the help of the NLNet Foundation.
Because you're amazing.
Back at the beginning, before activity pub integration was just some harebrained idea about connecting NodeBBs together, and then you go through the discussion about whether you go through the cost benefit analysis. This is actually worth the time. 10 times out of 10, no, it's not. Because you don't know how long it's going to take. You don't know whether it's going to work. No way. Too many
Yeah.
unknowns.
Yep.
But with the grant funding from NLNet, I was able to actually build that minimum viable product, to use that business term, that basic integration, made all the mistakes, but hacked it together and got it working. And I proved without a shadow of a doubt that it works. And now we have re-upped for another round of funding for this year to actually explore a lot of these conversational contexts and community building and Threadiverse improvements that we really want to see adopted Fediverse wide. None of this is what I'm doing just for myself, just for my software. It's all about how can we,
right?
What is it? Rising tide lifts all boats. That's the term.
Yeah. Well, and again, when you and companies have come to realize this with open source, right? Is when you make something that other people are interested in, yes, you do a lot of work up front, but then you have people that come in and they contribute to that, or they give you ideas from outside. Like, one person can only do so much, but together we can all do anything.
Yep.
And that's
right.
You're building that way to have others be able to come in and pick up. We all have gotten to where we at, building our knowledge off the backs of giants, and you're laying those foundations now to make it even easier. We're still in 2017, I was telling people, guys, like, this is amazing, but keep expectations in check. This is early days. And we're 8 years later from when I started, and we're still in the early days. Like, it's not still in the early days,
yeah. Haven't reached critical mass yet, but I think the longer that ActivityPub is sort of like that more niche concept, the better, because I don't know if you want everyone to take a look at all of ActivityPub's warts right now. Needing a bit more time to smooth things over.
But we've gained traction.
We're getting there.
Yeah, we're one day at a time, and it's picking up. And like, just a year ago, we didn't have a forum software with ActivityPub integration. And we didn't have Ghost with ActivityPub integration.
That's right. Exactly. Ghost joining was huge.
Yeah.
WordPress joining was huge.
And anyone can join in. I know a great forum software with ActivityPub integration if people want to know it. This is so exciting. I love this kind of stuff. I wish I could contribute more directly, but this is the best.
Honestly, the best thing you can do to contribute is word of mouth. Keep talking about it, is mind sharing. Because a lot of times people just don't know about the options, right?
Yeah.
They don't realize that there's more than one kind of forum software, and the one that hasn't been updated in 15 years, but it's good enough.
It'll be
right?
fine.
It's not even close to good enough, right? It's the fact that forums can now federate is a seismic shift in how forums can even work. It's less about islands.
You also have archival, right? That's a big thing with forums, is like, we've lost a lot of content because they've shut down. You now have offsite archival of your conversations.
Yeah, it's there. Yeah. It's not meant to be deleted. And it's you pair that with really good search, which historically forums have been pretty bad with search. So we'll tackle that.
That's a different one.
But we're gonna get to that point where the conversations that we're having won't be lost to the ether. You won't be gone with the wind. You can look back and say, we discussed, someone's going to ask a question about some concept out of the blue, and they'll say, we actually discussed this 6 months ago. It was really good discussion. Here it is. And we can just go through it. Here's 500 posts about that topic. Go nuts.
No, it's not even that. It's also historical, you as a person, right? Like, when you're my kids are very young, but when they graduate, like, you have that timeline of pictures, right? If you can have that timeline of stupid, ridiculous comments that they made or something like that, it's like, oh, I remember when, this picture, or when you fell down the steps and you tweeted out about it. So the one time, and I think it's probably, no, it's not out there because I deleted the account, but Reddit, like, I woke up, I was half asleep and awake, and my face was itchy. So I went to scratch my face, but because I'm half asleep and awake, I punched myself in the face. I was bleeding everywhere. I run to the bathroom and I'm just standing there laughing because it's ridiculous, right? And my wife walks in and she's like, what happened? It's like, I punched myself in the face. And she's like, well, you know what they say about Fight Club. And then she just walked away. And I was like, I immediately went to Reddit and I posted it on Reddit because like, that's ridiculous. And now we'll have that forever. Yay.
Yeah, of course.
But no, but this is all, it's all amazing work. It's incredible. You guys get me so excited for this. And I'm sorry I missed FediCon. I wanted to be there. We went on family vacation and my wife was like, well, let's see if we could still go. And it's like, we were going to Maine and it was in Vancouver.
Yeah, not quite. But I think Charles or Reaver at Mastodon Social, Reiver, he's going to going to make this an annual thing, which is very exciting. So we have that Canadian contingent of Activity Pub developers. Very exciting.
My wife has already said that like as soon as we know the date for the next one, mark it off in the calendar because we will be going. And she's like, we'll bring the whole family and they'll go off and do stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, no, it's exciting again. And just to talk to people, and you're not going to agree with everyone, right? Your idea might be different on their idea, but at least we have the opportunity to talk about it now outside of these other platforms and ingest it however you want. You want forum software, you got it. You want microblog, you got it. You want,
that's exactly it. That's all I want.
Yeah.
I don't want to pull everyone away from their own software. It's hard enough to convince somebody you should sign up for this forum. It's carving out that mind share to be like, yeah, you should check out this. You should stop doing whatever you're doing, move over to this. No one's going to. We're creatures of habit. We're not going to start anything new, right? You should be able to just use your existing software, whether it's Mastodon, Go to Social, Lemmy. You should be able to participate in the forum. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm seeing if this idea has legs. It does, but I'm trying to prove it with ActivityPub.space.
That's awesome. Very excited. All right. Well, now for the real reason I asked Julian here, which I think I didn't tell him about this, is to give him the opportunity to win a prize of a lifetime.
Okay. I'm excited.
Our prize today is a remote control that allows you to rewind conversations so you can get them from the start. That should help with that backfill issue for the Fediverse.
I think so.
I did think about a saxophone made of Limburger cheese, but I heard it really stinks at music. So are you ready for the quiz, Julian?
Oh, okay. Sure.
All right. Favorite movie and why is it Spaceballs?
No, it's not my favorite movie. Sorry. I don't know if I broke your heart there.
No, I think I only have one or two guests so far in almost 40 episodes. Okay, so what's your favorite movie? And I use this because I love to find new movies and watch new movies. So what is your favorite movie?
I'm a big Star Trek fan, but my favorite movie is Catch Me If You Can.
That's an excellent movie. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. It's part of it. It's not even Leonardo DiCaprio, actually. It's just the whole idea of somebody going and making a new life for themselves and just, essentially social engineering everybody into doing everything his way. Oh, I love it. And it was just really well put together, cinematography and everything. I love watching it.
Well, a couple years ago, it came out to no one's surprise that the guy that it was based on, Frank Abagnale, made up the whole thing. So he was a con artist about being a con artist. Like, it makes sense. Like, I don't hold it against the dude. The movie was great. Love it. It's so good.
Wow. My worldview is just completely shaken right now. Did not know that.
Yeah. And to Modest, yes, I am running my own Jitsi server and it works great. I love it.
Excellent.
So the next question is red, white, or blue?
Oh, as a color?
Yeah.
Oh, I
love how you're thinking that there's going to be more to it. No, it's. I do not think deeply.
No, red and white, Canadian flag, obviously.
That's literally. I was trying to come up with questions, and I'm looking at the Canadian flag. I'm like, oh, look, red and white. What other color goes? Blue. I'm like, God, that's such an American thing.
Yeah, that's where my mind went to. I'm like, no. What?
Okay, yeah. All right, so red and white because red and white.
Red
because
and
of the Canadian flag. Okay.
okay, you know what? I'll pick white. There's this big focus on dark mode for a lot of things, and oh yeah, we're computer users. We just sit in the dark in dark mode with our
It,
screens lighting up our faces. But no, you know what? I don't have dark mode enabled on any of my apps. Maybe
oh my
maybe
God.
my IDE, my VS Code is in dark mode, but everything else, I'm good with white actually. You know.
I can't. No, it like sears my eyeballs. Yeah, I'm a dark mode everything. I have
Are
to.
you really? Okay. I don't
Yeah.
know. I guess it's just how it's always been. I mean, nothing has been dark mode until the past 5 years. So I think I'm just used to everything being light.
I mean, the rest of the world does dark mode as long as the sun's not out. That's just you're not just. I mean, I'm staring into lights right now because of the whatever it's
Right.
called studio. But
The
yeah,
back.
no,
Yeah.
I have old bad eyes and it just blinds me. Can't do it. Okay, next question: poutine, butter tarts, or maple taffy on snow. And I had never heard of that, and I love that idea, and I have to try it sometime.
Yeah, it's not bad. Putin easily.
That's
Oh yeah.
yeah.
I'm all about savory things, and so you know what? I love a good butter tart too.
I've never had
But
it.
it is like butter tarts along with Nanaimo bars, which you didn't mention by the way, are crazy sweet.
Okay.
And I'm Chinese, and we don't typically use a lot of sugar in our anything. So it's a bit of a culture shock to sort of be introduced to either of those desserts and think this is what Canadians eat for dessert. No, God, it's so sweet. No, I'm all about savory things. So a really good poutine with cheese curds. They got
Yeah.
to squeak, by the way. None of this like shredded cheddar cheese on fries. No, it's
Good.
got to
Yeah.
be
The
cheese
good
curds
squeaky
with
cheese.
the with
Yeah.
the with the smothering of gravy on top. Oh, beautiful. And that's it. Just the basics. No spring onions, no bits of sausage, no. No. Simple.
Gravy, fries,
Cheese
and cheese
curds.
curds. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and those
Maybe
like
you can
when I,
improve it with waffle fries. I don't know. Let's give it that a shot. Give that a shot.
oh, I never even thought. Oh, that would allow like actually
Right?
like scooping.
It's
Oh,
all
that would
about
be so good.
the carrier, the cheese curds.
Yeah, but you can't. Who can ever have enough gravy and cheese?
Exactly.
It's
People
delicious.
say that poutine sounds like a gross idea. Just try it first.
No, it was funny because again, early 2000s, late 90s, I had a friend that was Canadian. He told me about it. I was like, "Oh my God, that's gross." And he's like, "What's your address?" I gave him my address and he literally mailed me like a packet of gravy, a potato, and then some cheese
Oh,
curds.
really?
And he's
Amazing.
like, "Make it and try it." And I was like, "What? No, I don't. No, I didn't." But when I eventually had it, oh God, it's so good.
Oh yeah, totally worth it.
Okay. Next question is, what does an alternate universe Julian do?
Alternate universe. My life could have gone many different ways. Yeah. You know, if I hadn't failed out of science at university, maybe I'd be doing that instead. I'd be working in a
Okay.
lab somewhere or teaching. There were many different ways, many different trajectories of my life. Initially I was going to major in music. I still did major in music, by the way. But I was going to go into teachers college, and in that alternate universe, I'd be a high school teacher teaching music.
Okay.
And none of that would be anything remotely close to what I do now. Like what I do now is I conduct community bands uh, as my sort of alter ego side job, side hobby sort of thing.
But
So
I
I'm that guy
like
standing
that.
up in front, waving his arms around with a stick in his hand, hopefully not throwing the stick away.
But I love that like you could come up with anything and you came up with a band teacher.
Yeah,
High
I mean
school band teacher. That's great. That's beautiful.
it's what I was thinking of like way back before I pivoted a bit into computer science, because those are my two main passions: is music and like hacking stuff together on the computer.
Well,
Right?
and
That
it's
who would have known that the latter one would be what I'd
yeah.
be making my living around. And the former, the more, I mean, I suppose the arts is not always a safe bet, but that was what I was thinking of going into way back.
All right. No, that's awesome. I love that. That's beautiful.
Good
All right,
question.
I reached out to an alternate universe Julian because there's an infinite. I have an alternate universe phone here. Don't ask. It's very technical. You wouldn't understand.
Oh God.
And the alternate universe Julian is starting a software project, but he's stuck on the name and he's just calling it NodeBB, and he doesn't know when to end it. So best of luck to alternate universe Julian on eventually finding the end to those Bs.
Oh, 42 of them, obviously.
So, okay, now that you said that, though, good. I like that because you can't use that answer again because we have one coming up and everyone uses that answer. All right.
Oh, okay.
Next question is X, Y, or Z since you like BB?
Since I like BB.
Well, since you like B because you used it twice.
Oh,
so
I see X, Y, or Z.
X, Y, or Z?
Oh. That's a really good question. I don't know. I'm gonna pick.
It's not a good question. It's a super random question. But I'm pretty
pick Z. I'm gonna pick Z because it confuses Americans.
Okay. No, that's great. I like that you answered because I was gonna ask why Z or Z. It's pronounced Z.
No, it's not. It's also pronounced lieutenant, and neighbor has a U in it.
What? Never heard these.
Yeah, it's a British thing. It's spelled lieutenant, but it's pronounced lieutenant. And yes, as I'm sure you know about the U thing, we have U's in a lot of our words for no discernible reason. Like neighbor. Neighbor has a U in it.
It does have a U in it. You're right. I've never. So once you told me and explained it to me, yes, your app's color. We don't have a U in color, but you can have a U color.
Yeah, the funny one of the things I always look back on and smile is that way back when we first started seeing people install our software, one of the topics on our forum was why is NodeBB in Old English? And when they meant Old English, it's because we hadn't internationalized and all of our stuff was written in Canadian English. So
in Old English, wow!
I always thought that was really funny.
That's pretty good. I like
think
that.
If I dig hard enough, I can probably still find it. The thread from 12 years ago.
Well, you have to because you need. Well, you got search, right? Search.
I wrote a blog post about it. Apparently.
Okay. Nice. I like that. All right, and then, as usual, our last question will be sent to Julian telepathically. So I'll send him the question. Take your time and think about it. It's usually quite difficult. And then give me your answer. Okay. You ready?
No.
Here it comes. You got to be ready. Here comes the question. All right. Take your time on that question. And when you can think of the answer, let me know. And you already used 42. So.
No, I already used 42. Yeah. No, I didn't get anything. It must be because of the Fediverse. I don't think I'm following the right accounts, so it didn't get federated over to me. So
okay. I like that. All right. Well, congratulations. You got every question either correct or incorrect. Good job.
Or dodged it. Yeah.
Unfortunately, someone, and I won't say who because it's just a total honest mistake, and mistakes happen, and there's no point in saying it was me because even though it was me, it's fine. Someone left the remote on the floor and the dog stepped on it on the power button and the remote disappeared. So I apologize. You won't be able to get your amazing prize. You'll have to continue on working on your backfill. Okay. Best of luck with it. And
that's okay.
Normally I say
next time, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a totally real thing. And normally at this point, I would say I would punish the person that did it, but she's such a good doggo. I can't punish her. She just deserves loves and hugs and cuddles instead. So that's all we have for Fireside Fedi today. Julian, again, thank you so much. I'm going to be checking out NodeBB amongst the other million things that we need to check out.
Yeah, start it up. Let me know. I mean, I've had 10 years of helping people start it up, so hopefully it won't be too difficult. And maybe we'll end a podcast on I'm not a dog person, I'm a cat person. Okay, you can turn it off now.
I have a cat too. They don't like each other.
Oh, look
That
at you.
helps.
Okay.
But yeah,
Okay.
so you can just
I don't
insert
own
that she
cats. I
said
don't own
that.
pets actually, but I don't own pets. I have kids, so
I have kids as well. It's a lot.
it's a lot.
But thank you everyone out there in the Fediverse for all you're doing as well. Everyone making something or just commenting or liking or following. You help make all of this work. It's more resilient. It,
100%.
spread the word about it. If you could subscribe to the video, not because I have advertisers or an algorithm to please, but that's how it federates throughout the Fediverse and other people can find us and we can have more conversations. And that's it. Thank you all so much.
Great. Thank you, Ozone.
Have a great one.